Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 11:24 a.m. on the 8th of October 2023. I'm continuing my vlog videos of interesting writings that come up in my vocal media that I've carefully curated, preserved, and my Facebook memories each day. So I thought I would share today's offerings. As always, I write a lot about my complex PTSD experiences, at times ennoblement. It's a gift, backhanded gift that keeps giving people. So if at any time you find any of my self-expression triggering, remember you have the power of the X button. There isn't an X button on these things, but by that, that's my old school reference to when I was on Pal Talk days. You could turn things off on the window by pressing X, which meant you exited the screen and you were no longer obligatory to osmosing or absorbing all the negativity that would sometimes appear on the screen in front of you, especially in chat rooms where they would go into full scale, what I used to laughingly and lovingly term as power wars, where they would just all sort of bully and, troll each other. Could be quite vicious at times. So there's no bullying and trolling in my room, in my presence, and on my YouTube video. There's only truth speaking, and some people don't like to have the truth revealed before them, including our own personal truths can be painful, and I get it. So if at any time you feel uncomfortable and you have the power to turn me off, but please don't fantasize about silencing me or turning me off, literally, because I enjoy my life, and I've reached the peak of life at this late stage in life where I am in service to the gods and to humanity, if nothing else, but as a example or a teaching modality of how you can survive almost anything, although not quite sure how I'm going to survive this current epoch and the AI technology and the nanotechnology. I just watched a very interesting video just prior to this video, and I'm blessed if I can remember its name. But anyway, it talked about how we are being invaded in our physical form, including with aerosol nanotechnology. So that's quite alarming to my, little short fat hobbit physical body formed from the earth. I remain always and forever an earthling, even though I spend so much time on my iPhone. I probably glow in the dark. If you probably put a Geiger count over me, I'd probably set it off. So I'm not quite as earthling as I'd like to pretend I am, because of my addiction to my iPhone. But I am leaving a record of my physical presence on this planet, leaving some kind of legacy for others to stumble across or resonate with, that, as an earthling, hobbit woman, spiritual being, on the 8th of October 2023, I am still fighting for my survival on this planet, and wanting to remind us to remain true to our natural, God-given, our natural physical form and our natural state, and to, keep our earth and our physical earth, our planet, and our own body, minds and spirit as pristine and as natural as is humanly possible, given that we are now under constant threat of immolation, and by all intents and purposes in the midst of a World War III that is technological, anti-humanist and AI driven, and perhaps even alien by its truest nature, or demonic. But I don't like to subscribe to that kind of fear porn, but that's what I've been seeing for quite some time, actually a long time before COVID came along. I'd been seeing the alterations. I found it interesting that in the movie that I just watched, the documentary I just watched, they said it basically was brought in around about 2005. And casting my mind back, I mean, I was seeing immense changes from 2001. I mean, remember 9/11, that whole thing was very weird. And but 2005 would be a close enough timeline approximation of when they started really bringing in this biotech. And it's truly alarming if you really look into it. The more you look into it, the more you wish you didn't know. But not knowing puts us in a state of powerlessness too. And knowledge is power, people. Always knowledge is power. So I share my little insignificant human life with you. And at times it is depressing. My life has been quite traumatic and depressing. A long, long time before COVID came, I was smacked with the ugly brush of trauma and intergenerational trauma and abuse. So there is that. So my reality has not been pleasant. And those of you who've had protective, privileged, nurtured, plastic, fantastic, superficial, closeted lives, hearing my stories and reading my writings can be very confronting, and I completely understand. You know, I have to live in this reality, and I have to find a way to survive it and thrive in it too. And it's getting ever more increasingly alarming, especially given that I'm older now and more frail with my health and vulnerable. But by all intents and purposes, every living human on this planet is vulnerable. Although the video I just watched did remind me, they kept that the propaganda kept saying, we are not safe, we are not safe. And this is how they managed to inculcate putting this into your body, with producing this constant brainwashing that we're not safe. So I want to remind you, fellow earthlings and interdimensional beings of love, light, truth and holiness and higher vibration and kindness and sweetness and benevolence, we are actually safe. Even though I wasn't safe during my childhood, and I wasn't safe in my 30s, I wasn't safe in my 40s, and, you know, I'm at great personal risk even now, age 58, because of the society I live in. Safety comes from within. You choosing your own life, you choosing to protect life, you choosing to go forth and have your babies and create some kind of future for yourself against all the odds. I had a young man at the Brooklyn Standard approach me and tell me that, you know, why would anyone want children? Well, the point is that as humans, it's our role to create within our bodies. Women anyway, men provide the seed, right? And we germinate within our own bodies as women, the next generation, and in the hope that there is always some kind of future for that generation incoming, and that even if only one person of that generation contains the star maps, the inspiration, the genius to turn this shit show around, then it's worth it. So always, always look to the future with hope and inspiration. And for the love of God, have your babies. Don't let anyone stop you, put you off having your children. Life is life, people. And we need every mortal human body on the ground as long as we can, and hopefully put the skids on this alien / demonic / anti-humanist bioweaponry that's slowly turning us into humanoids and androids and non-biological entities. My body's not a supermodel. It's not young anymore. It's not all that pretty anymore. But it's mine, and I built it over and over and over again from cell division since a certain ignoble sperm and a certain narcissistic egg, merged. Those bastards. But here I am, and I've been, cell dividing for a long time, and now I'm getting older. My cells are starting to die off. I've had the skin cancers, the melanomas cut out, and the beginnings of decay, which is also part of life. But I'm embracing life each day, even in the face of my own immolation, because that too is creativity and generative, and choosing life against all the odds, and going forth and leaving fruits and wisdom behind for those struggling to clasp onto, to understand that no matter what, this is our true nature. Being human, being alive, being real inside our own body, mind and spirit. So with that, I begin my reading. There's not a lot of musings of even date, but I'll share what I think is more interesting. There's a bit one here about whining about my skin cancers and the torture and getting a bad sunburn, which is a very real problem given that I'm carcinogenic now and very quickly turning to skin cancers. So I won't read about that because I've mentioned that in the introduction now, and I mentioned here about that I was busy cutting Perspex earring displays, which is quite funny because I can buy them so cheaply on Temu that it made all that hard work kind of irrelevant. But the thing about creating things with your own bare hands and your own materials is you learn the value of your own labour and your own work, and you appreciate things a lot more than buying things from robotic factories or, God forbid, slave labour. And you appreciate other people's workmanship too, because you've done the 8 hours grinding and cutting and shaping and forming, and you realise how much work goes into things, especially when you're doing it by hand and you don't have the fancy machinery like lathes and bench presses and, electric saw blades and all that kind of thing, which if I had the money I'd probably buy, but where would I store it all? In my little house anyway. It's a bit irrelevant. So anyway, I digress. So this bit of writing comes from 8th of October 2022, so 1 year ago. I loaded my car. I'm so exhausted. I don't trust my energy reserves to do it first thing in the morning. That's in reference to I was going to the markets the next day and I was nervous as hell and, preparing ahead of time because, one has to prepare people when you don't have energy levels and you don't have other people to support you or help you in your endeavours. There is that. 2:37 a.m. That would have been on the 8th of October 2022. 2:37 a.m, home from a great night out dancing along to Zoophonic Blonde, then the DJ. My psychiatrist's intuition was half right. I did not see the cyclist, but his cousin turned up around 1 a.m. He stared at me briefly, probably doesn't remember who I am, but no worries there. There were a few other former regulars whom I hadn't seen since before the mandates. They watched me eagerly. I just ignored them. When the cousin turned up on the dance floor, I was having a wild old time, hamming it up with some lovely man, so that was a positive. If he does decide to gossip about me, all he can say is, I was doing what I have always done, living my best life on my fourth or fifth wind, dancing wildly and joyously. Take that, motherfucker. I had a sweet young man dancing with Joe and Geraldine and I. He was shy and not intrusive, and he really loved dancing, so I included him for a while. But when I began to wind down with exhaustion, he was dancing with another group of revellers. All good. I will be in recovery mode the rest of today, Saturday. Then off to my new venture on Sunday, which was the markets. I am terribly excited about A, being brave enough to try new things, B, letting go of resentment and anger at old lovers, even if I still think they were sadistic motherfuckers. But the past is starting to package itself up like a stale, old, tear-stained, yellowed, half-rotten love letter in a memory box somewhere. I am allowing myself the release and relief for or of the greatest love of my life, my nascent becoming, and it's been a long, hard, excruciating work in progress, but every single moment is a miracle, and I honour that. I honour the happiness that seeps through me on the dance floor and the joy that engulfs me in my sacred space garden. Just going to interrupt because I heard Charlie squawking. I did hear it in my other bit of consciousness I was reading to you. And then it went deathly quiet. So Beauregard used to check on her for me because being a dog, he had better hearing. Oh, she's fine. She's fine. Okay. I just freaked out because it's snake season now. The warmer weather's here, and I thought perhaps she's squawking at a wild bird or, God forbid, a snake. I worry about snakes eating her now. It's how I live, in constant worry about my last remaining pet, but I worry anyway. I worry about everything. I worry about everything and nothing. But anyway, she's fine. The joy that engulfs me in my sacred space garden, which I just went to check on. I welcome the spirit inside me that has slowly healed herself, and I kiss her goodnight and wish her only the greatest, most delicious unfolding in the next few months or years or decades. However much longer I have on this planet, I am grateful and satisfied. Little did I know that this year was going to be a hell loop of epic contortions and proportions, but it is what it is. There was nothing else I could have done but let the poison leach itself where it most belonged, with the vicious perpetrators, and let karma, time, and an entire COVIDian zombie apocalypse take care of the rest. The death cult is finally settling, but it has made people realise that our lives are short and precious, and kindness, honour and integrity are the currency of the next paradigm, or so I hope. This is 8th of October 2021, so 2 years ago. 11:11 p.m. Hold true, hold strong, hold heart in precious hands. Lila Tov from me. That means good night from me. And there's a lovely photo of me with my Beauregard and my nightie, preparing to go to bed. And Bobo hated having his photograph, so he's kind of frowning at the camera, which is so typical of him. I miss my beautiful boy, I really do. So this journal, the timing of the writing is going from night till morning. So it's going backwards in time. So it started off with good night, but this would have been written in the evening or the afternoon. Today and every day from now, I will be sending messages from the gods of hope, love, kindness, honour and integrity. After listening to Linda Moulton Howe's dire death cult predictions, I have started to feel that even the supposed good prophets are evil. I don't think she's evil, by the way, but there was a lot of negativity around that time frame, which was getting alarming, says she who is immersed in her own darkness at any given time. I need to shift the timelines back to pre-September 11, 2001, when whatever turned those buildings to dust, whatever technology was used to kill innocent humans, began the slow, steady descent into this COVID paradigm. I was kept alive, even against my own will, too many times to be living in this hellish existence for no good reason. There must be a higher purpose that God or the gods had in mind when they told me at that last red breath, at that last surgery, that I would be sent back to a veritable hell on earth as I was needed. I thought it was preposterous and a drug-soaked hallucination from the cholecystectomy, but alas no, the last breath that seemed to go on forever was mere seconds, taught me well. Love is the law, the fabric of the universe, and although I have had to cut my cloth accordingly, love is such a powerful force of both nature and supernature that even though I was gifted the merest scraps from a man's table, heart and soul, I have proven myself capable to fan it into a huge violet flame of hope and selfless, absurdist denial. But yes, the love that was stolen from me, suffocated by hands of hate and despair, raped, beaten and dishonoured, that tiny, tiny fractalized ember is what can turn this earth back to the paradise, the garden she once was. Consider my face painted blue. I am kind of a bit blue around the gills from lack of, oxygen saturation these days. looking bluer and bluer and bluer. I might go really mad and get blue stripes tattooed on my Slavic high cheekbones. Bit tempting that. I don't really have to. I'm already shades of purple, aren't I? It's all good, people. I'm loving this last phase of my life because I have no choice. Just live in it and love it. Love who you are, no matter what. You, me, us are embodied miracles, spirits having a physical experience. Never forget that. I am calling out to freedom, to the gods, to love itself that is called many names in all faiths and spirituality, but to the will to good, will to love, to triumph over evil. I call your names in a myriad of tongues across the galaxies in the silence of the Aleph, in my very breath that you, God, breathed into me. Where are you now, O Holy One? Do not forsake us. Even those who ceded their inner spark of light for the false demonic promise of longevity, those who sacrificed their own babies to that evil Moloch baby eater. It's ridiculous that we have to censor ourselves for YouTube. It's immature, it's anti-humanistic, it's absurdist, and it's ridiculous. But we have to dance to their complete nonsensical games, play them at their own game to survive and to thrive and to have our truth. I whom have no grandchildren and now no hope of them, destined to die alone in poverty, in isolation, on a dying planet, with the errant arrogance and lunacy of humanity who thought they could fuck with the fabric of time and space and bring nuclear war on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, who destroyed the crust of our earth in testing in the Pacific and in Russia, who dared to think we could maintain an ecosystem after that profound evil. No wonder we have visitors from distant galaxies monitoring our actions as we are dangerous verminous children of the gods playing at death instead of life. So where is my message of hope in this hopeless hellscape? I have looked into the faces of my infant children almost 36 years ago, now almost 38 years ago, seen their souls suffused in radiant golden light, watched it diminish from trauma over time. Yes, I did, and it was the worst punishment a woman could endure, but I endured it. I watched the love in the faces of my beloved pets and watched their lives cut short by timelines not of my choosing. I made friends with death as a natural and expected outcome of any life. It nearly killed me, the grief. Now I was cheated out of Sox's passage into the light by those evil, greedy vets. But he is here in my heart and on top of my cabinet as ashes. Thanks to Sally, who could not bear to have him discarded after the ghastly horror we were put through. And at that point in time, I was so ill with a bronchitis that they falsely accused me of having COVID. They refused me to be there for his death. And I was so desperately ill, actually, I did not have the energy to bury him in that traumatic, grief-stricken state. So it was deeply kind and exceedingly generous of Sally, my friend Sally Castle, who shared her two pussycats with me. So deeply generous of her to pay for him to be cremated and to be brought back to us as ashes. He's the only pet that I have ever had cremated. My normal practice is to bury them. And it was a little bit weird and confronting when he came back to me in a beautiful rosewood box, and it was like having a Band-Aid ripped off all over again, had to re-grieve again. But he sits there very, patiently and silently. We haven't scattered his ashes yet. And I don't know. I've been waiting for Sally to come and do it with me, but the last few times they were quick flying visits, and I didn't want to bring up the subject. He's fine up on the couch, up on top of the cabinet. And but it was a horrorscape, that passing too, and yet not quite as horrific as what I was put through on the 1st of August this year when Beauregard died. It was even more fetid, nanobot, robotic, demonic malevolence of the kind that you would only see in a horror movie, and yet I had to live through that. So I'm still a bit raw, as you can imagine. Anyway, I continue. But Socks and all my beloved pets were love. Love for no reason, no agenda, just existing in this timeline as way showers of what is real and what matters. Not money, status, or greed, although he was a galloping gourmand who loved food and loved his many mothers. I have made a damn fool of myself and left a message on the phone of my former beloved to remind him that I acknowledge he did not want me, but my love remains. Shit happens. She who was always incapable of a stable, solid, loyal, faithful, honouring love partnership. Wasn't me that was incapable, it was them. Still reaches from beyond the veils of an actual real-life apocalypse because I can and must love. I love you. I hate what we have become, but I will love us back from the brink of immolation. And then I put the quote from the Bhagavad Gita quote of Oppenheimer. Then I write, there is always someone worse off. Fuck my fucking teeth and suicidal ideation. The gods at least bless me with a nice home. For as long as that lasts, I am grateful. Hell, even my gratitude is a living, breathing act of defiance. And I post a beautiful photo of Beauregard and my possum box and my beautiful staghorns and my beautiful jasmine climbing. Let me try and hold this straight. And my toilet that used to be my mother's memorial. I used to have even a little sign up with her birth and death date like it was a grave marker. Because I came from evil, perverted shits, and shit keeps happening, and over time I even let that go. I took the sign down and I erased it, ground it off and turned it into something else because I decided Although I had always promised my mother to always keep a vase of flowers and a photo of her beside it and memorialise her, I had memorialised that evil quite long enough, and it was time to let it go. And to let her go and to forgive the unforgivable, the untenable, the unacceptable, by forgiving the fact that there was nothing else that could have been done because she had made her choices in her behaviour towards me, and she was never sorry, and the aftermath will be continuously unravelling and decompressing until the day I die. And I have always prayed since her passing, and since before her passing even, I pray to God, Creator, source of all life, whoever runs this universe, whoever created my neshama, that I never meet those people ever again in any future incarnation, that the grief and the trauma was the last time I have a karmic connection to those entities. And it's arrogance, because I'm not in charge of the universe and I'm not in charge of my own karmic spiritual development. But I do, it's heartfelt. I pray that whoever runs this shit show, when I pass from this life, doesn't make me incarnate again with those monsters ever again, because I'm done. Personally done with them all. But here I post a photo showing my implant, and I write, this was a temporary crowned implant, but gosh, 9 years. I have been told by the dentist at Royal Brisbane Hospital that they break after 10 years. So yes, in the next few years, I will be toothless again. Oh well, at least I tried. I could cry when I think about it, but I have a COVID apocalypse full of epic fucking zombies to survive first. Crying is no longer an option. It really isn't, people. But yeah, here I am, 2012, with my temporary teeth, still kind of awful. New do, new tooth, new me. And that was my limited success, having 2 front teeth. My father used to always tease me as a child, all I want for Christmas is my new front teeth. Well, that became a prophecy that was decades long, wasn't it? Thanks, Dad, monster. Anyway. So there is a fair bit of swearing and vulgarity in this, which comes with me, part of my trauma issues and my upbringing. So be ready for some florid language. 8th of October 2020. I was often stranded because my parents, plural, were cunts. I never forgot one kind woman at Courtney Place bus stop, this is in Wellington, New Zealand, who saw me in deep distress in my school uniform, aged 14. My school bus pass could not be used after 5 p.m, and I had gone, with permission, to visit a school friend, but had no money on me, and without being able to use my bus pass, had no way of getting home. So I burst into tears. A lady saw me and gave me the change for the bus fare. An angel. I often wonder why I bothered going home to those bastards at all. I had rung Case to tell him I was stranded on the public phone. I had a few coins to make the phone call, but he replied if I went to my friends after school, it was not his responsibility to pick me up and to get my own way home. My God, I hated him. I can't believe I was so kind to him when he was dying. I still can't believe it. He deserved no kindness from me after a childhood of frequent rape threats and financial abuse and other splitting behaviours with my evil bastard mother. But breathe, Tanya. They are all dead and gone now, and no longer have permission to take up space in my head. My life, what is left of it, is beautiful. I am loved and supported by good, kind people. I am healing. And from the comments section, Megan Phillips, my cousin in New Zealand, pardon me, I would have hitchhiked, lol cuz. You've had a good share of angels among the devils. And I reply, yin and yang in the multiverses. More demons than angels, but those rare birds were of such high caliber that they counteracted the effects of 1,000 demons. And let's face it, even those dirty, feeted bastards made me whom I am today. And Megan wrote, more demons than angels walk the earth, cousin. And I replied, it would seem so. But when you raise your consciousness, you start encountering more angels. They're out there, people. Although they come in various forms, often a scruffy looking bunch. I know one thing though, no one dares fuck with my personal angel now. I keep very esteemed and protective company, which I have found numerous times, even in recent months, to be true. And then I posted a meme. Do you think it's possible that someone's soulmate might not be a person? What if the love of your life is actually a miniature panther? It's of this little black kitten. So I replied, Penny, Sophie, Zulu, Tristan, Tali, Moggy, Mushu, Tinkerbell, Trixie, Blossom, Cody, and we can add Socks to that list because he's passed now too. All my soulmates. The one that was the most bonded with me was Penny. She was an amazing soulmate. She really was the most amazing spirit. A beautiful cat. All my cats were beautiful. 8th of October 2019. Tonight is Erev Yom Kippur, Gemar Chatima Tova, to those who are fasting and purging their souls, bodies and minds of decades of crap, entering the sanctuary of the Holy One with clear hearts and clear minds. I honour your holiness. I will not be participating for various reasons. I am on a different path now. The path to freedom from oppression and hypocrisy. I used to fast and daven with kavana, that means intense devotion, and daven means to pray, while simultaneously under constant vicious attack, as a post I commented on just now reminded me. So, fuck that. God, or the one who created the multiverses, has changed my heart and mind, something I never thought possible decades ago when I yoked myself to Reform Judaism with great joy and a sense of belonging. But after arriving in Brisbane, I was scapegoated and demonized so often that it is indeed miraculous that I survived it all, including 3 strangulations from Jewish men. or one inculcated. The first one was my ex-husband, who was Jewish, who inculcated my attacker. So that attacker wasn't Jewish, but he was paid to rough me up. So the threat came from my own Jewish former husband and later lovers. It's abhorrent what was done to me. Where was God in all this? Trapped like a tiny spark of hope inside my broken, fractalized heart. And each time I fanned that tiny, tiny ember of light into a blazing fire, and when or if necessary, burnt down all my haters in my midst, metaphorically. For I chose Judaism, but God also chose me, with my extraordinary struggles and the discrimination and violence I endured over the years. Not a Jew anymore. Or am I? Only God knows. I will remind my people this, though, every time I encounter true evil in the form of anti-Semitism, racism, Nazism, misogyny, child abuse, xenophobia, animal abuse, or the grossest chutzpah and utter hypocrisy of people who slandered me in 1989 and basically got away with it. I will always stand with survivors against abusers both within and from outside our Jewish community. Always have and always will. Update. Once again, the Yomim Tovim, the days of awe, bring me cognitive dissonance, hangman's humour, and existential angst. Oh, and the yearly misfortunes, running out of enough money, and this year a dead pet chicken, in brackets, kaparot. Kaparot is when on Yom Kippur, just prior to Yom Kippur, the Orthodox sacrifice a chicken and they wave it over your head to take away your sins, like as a kind of a blood offering. It's symbolic. They don't even eat the chicken after, which is a dreadful waste of chickens. It's some weird Lubavitcher, medieval custom that comes from, no doubt comes from Chabad and relates back to the 18th century. It's weird, but it's kind of like, no different to voodoo practitioners making their little animal sacrifices and contributions to the gods. Nothing changes if nothing changes, people. It would seem a curse if it wasn't so bloody awful and a tad meshuggah. Meshuggah is Yiddish for crazy. But yeah, that was horrific, losing my chicken at that time of year. So where will the Tanya be next year and the year after that, or the next 5 years? Shaking my fists at the multiverses that never cuts me any slack, and fighting for survival, and perhaps even thrival. Loving dickheads who abused my heartfelt intentions. See you soon, Dave. Well, I haven't seen him, but his cousin saw me recently, didn't he? Perhaps moving on and opening my heart and mind and razor-wide loins to a new, more wholesome, respectful lover. Oh. Oi, will the gods and goddesses and assorted fae and trickster spirits ever bless me? Achoo! Alakazoo! Oozy special, never mind, hyperbolating, 'cause I can. This Jewish/heathen woman has been celibate and wry and weary long enough, punished for standing up in her own dignity and righteousness, a decent, kind woman, done wrong by her former community and tribe and current society. But I will let shit, in brackets, shits, go. My time to be angry and embattled and embittered must slide. I paid a price to the gods. Enough already. Time to rise and shine in the ever-loving arms of the sublime divine. She has my back, of that I am certain, or I would not have been kept alive and loved just enough by true friends to sustain this existence. Humbling, gratifying, a gift. I am curious to see what this new year has in store for me. I feel that I have been kept alive so that I may witness my greatest dreams, ideals, intentions come to fruition. So mote it be. Exciting times. Smiley face. That was 2019 and it's been exciting times indeed. Weird times. October 8th, 2017. There is a love that does not die, no matter how many times he kills it. It seeps and grows like a spreading balm, drips sweetness like a date palm. Each time he cuts it deep and stifles it with superficial, callow hatred, she grows out again, blossoms and sheds her outer husk and shucks her seeds of transformation to wherever they fall. Beauty grows in dark, moist, rich manure. Seeking out the light and peace and laughter, love unfurls like a fern, flicking its way from the dark, musty, rich soil to the effulgent air, unfolding exponentially. The undead creature lives on in her own power and potential, denied and rectified, tormented and edified. The killing came too late. She shed the dead skin and kept the dream of love alive deep inside her soul. He lives there now, murderer of women's hearts, but he is now her prisoner, a ghost in the machine, and that is the irony. Trigger warning, CSA, trauma survival. This is a poignant vignette of a life. So I'm commenting on a video I saw of another survivor. This is a poignant vignette of a life of a complex PTSD survivor. I see so many similarities in her personality formed by trauma. I never murdered anyone either, but I honestly should have, and frequently wish I had. But I feared prison and losing my freedom, my children, and my mind more than killing those bastards. I lost both my daughters now too. Everything I fought to survive was to be a mother and possibly a grandmother. All gone. All hope is gone. My life ultimately stolen by more bastardry than you can poke a penis at. as to saying no. My life now is a constant, pernicious fuck you and or fuck off to society. I am living proof that you can reclaim your life and dance to oblivion and be free, if only in my own heart and mind. I love that this woman had her own boat to escape to the sea whenever she liked. I loved her surfing, a skill I would like to learn someday. The sea saved my life also. The vastness of space, the glimpse of eternity, the freedom. The same freedom that almost drowned me a few times as a child. I want to go home to the sea in Byron Bay, but I'm trapped and mired and fucking consecrated in hellish poverty. So I escape by dancing in the weekends, in an environment that is often dangerous and toxic, surrounded by the mad and bad and those striving to wake up inside their own minds and bodies and reclaim their power, their intrinsic beauty, their soul. I was protected last night from a creepy stalker who blatantly harasses me every few weeks or months. After I almost gave up and was close to leaving, as he is so foul, I have to fight my rage and restrain myself from headbutting him. Finally, security threw him out. I was surprised. I am rarely protected like that. I have had to rise above every seedy psychopath that dogs me in that place, for the inglorious privilege of having a place to dance where I am known and usually respected. I am the freak on my spot, the unqualified, unpaid entertainment. I am okay with that, but when it goes bad, it goes bad very quickly. But I come back each week, as dancing for me is like surfing, liberating my blocked meridians, my broken heart, and torn and shattered mind, and dark clowning my pain and rage and abandonment into the movement and mimicry of lyrics of songs. Surging and purging and occasional laughter, stomping and prancing through my life, and occasionally finding angels of light and love and compassion. Most of the time, keenly aware of how absurd I look and how terribly lonely I am, but knowing that I am an inspiration, if only for myself. This woman, Vina, and I, we are not crazy. We are beautiful disasters, but we are strong, deserving of peace, happiness, and love. Real, authentic, brave and calming, joyous, sustaining, mutual love. We know what it feels to be loved wrongly, badly, cruelly, and also to not be loved at all. May our iniquities be small ones, our freedom forever exponentially blossoming. May those fake friends, lovers, family that tried to block me from success, happiness, love, and achieving dreams just fuck off to the void. Here's looking at you, Dave. I still love you though. They already took so much from me, sucked and leached my soul and heart and mind, and I gave to them so willingly, so purely, so blindly, hoping against all hope and reason, and that they were true and loyal and loving, only to be betrayed time and again. If I could design my next life, I would ask to never exist again in any carnate form, to be one with the Ein Sof Or, with Nirvana, because I am so tired of the evil bullshit. But designs are made to be recreated and scrapped and born again, different or better or blessed or whatever. The voyeurs sit perched like carrion feeders in the sky, waiting for their chance to push me down or keep me down, and every now and then poke me to see if I still get up and hurdy-gurdy ride another day. And I always do. One more ride, one more rise and shine. I got this. And the video that inspired those thought processes and musings was on the internet, called www.endpain.com Moonchild. I don't know if it's still available, but it was lovely and she was truly inspiring. So blessings to you, Vina. God bless fellow surviving women, surviving child sexual abuse, and men. We deserve all the blessings and joy and truest, deepest love and heartfelt connections that come our way, that are genuine and authentic and long-lasting and life-affirming and kind. 8th of October 2014. Lynn and I sat by her chimney fire and absorbed the powerful energies of the moon glow. We spoke of things close to our heart, while I ate most of her biscuits, because I'm a greedy motherfucker, drank tea and smoked 2 of her cigarettes, which I rarely smoke because of my asthma, but every now and then I crave them. And the reason for that is my sister, when I was growing up as a young child, was forever blowing smoke in my face. And I think it's somehow formed something in my brain. I actually have a craving for cigarettes from time to time, which is highly unusual. I am a hobbit. I love my creature comforts. Puppy was very happy to see me and even got out of bed to see me off. She hasn't been well, so that was a huge effort for the doggess goddess to smile me on her way. I love that dog. Makes me miss Miss Bella Rosa. Lynn gave me an armful of pepinos to plant in the garden tomorrow and 2 racks to hang necklaces on. She spoils me rotten. She still does spoil me rotten. I love my friends. They are awesome. So earlier on that day, home from psych, fridge working, hallelujah, it was the fish pond pump which had blown out the fuses. I have been trying to cut the top off a blue plastic drum as we have goldfish roe. So I need another pond to grow them out in. It is arduous as I really need an electric saw to do the job. I have given up, lathered in sweat, so now awaiting the storm and moving food back into the kitchen. Here I thought I was going to have a quiet, peaceful day. So disappointing that the storm clouds will mask the blue moon. The energy is ramped up high regardless. I had a wonderful debrief with my doctor. He said I am definitely not a narcissist and have a healthy attitude to my self-preservation and protection from abuse. He said he loves working with me as my psychotherapist, as I always keep it real and brutally honest, direct, blunt about my own life and my interactions with other people. He says I am blindsided in love relationships, which he can't work out where that blindness stems from, as I am insightful and honest. Even if a tad obsessive at times, it is driven by a genuine desire for a supportive, loving, genuine partnership. He says I often block or reject people, but he thinks I would use my intelligence to push them away. I do. He says my avoidance comes from fear of pain and abuse and rejection. So true. I am also genuinely clingy at times when I think I have found a man who can be real with me. So I swing between the dichotomy of wanting a lover, then pushing them away. Although it was Dave that constantly pushed me away with his evil, vicious, malevolent games. I agree with everything he says. I deliberately won't give up on a certain person, even though I know he is unavailable, so I fall for the trap of living in love fantasy and rejecting anything that might be real. He said I am a no bullshit woman. I am also gaining mastery over psychopaths, and he is pleased that I am finally learning to stand up and be counted after a lifetime of trauma and abuse. I told him I got sick of being a zombie for 20 years and I intend to keep dancing as long as possible. He agreed that it has been good for me. I'm just reading about how I was freaking out about my fridge breaking down, but it was really a fuse, and we don't need to read that. It's not poignant writing, it's trivial stuff. Here's one that's cute though. Just as I shared the photos of cats ruling the world, Miss Penny came up beside my head, stared at my iPhone screen, looked at the cats, looked at me intensely and lovingly, like she was about to kiss me. She used to kiss me by headbutting me, which was gorgeous. She increased the volume of her purr from pleasant to intoxicating. I gave her a quick pat on the head. She lingered a bit longer, then went back to the foot of the bed. Funny girl. She wanted to see what this Facebook is all about and why the mama has not got out of bed yet. 'Cause I am bloody tired. I have to get up though. I see my psychiatrist at 3 p.m. Yay! 8th of October 2013. 3:33 a.m. Extremely broke. I spent the $10 Crystal left for me in the car on a drink and to listen to music. Then I came home. I was out for 2 hours after sleeping all day and felt the urge to be out in the world. I saw some faces I recognized. One was one of the former security guards who was so kind and sweet to tell me he was sorry about what had happened. I was sexually assaulted at all. Yeah, sexually assaulted. S-aid or whatever you want to call it, because we must have our truth invalidated by polite, delegitimization on everybody tube. Nasty it is. Anyway, he was so kind and sweet to tell me he was sorry about what had happened and it would not have happened if he'd been on duty that night. He's looking at you, alien overlords, AI overlords. I was pleased to see him at Irish Murphy's, and again when I ran into him and his lady briefly when I went to the casino to get a lemonade for free with my membership card. Lol, you get 2 free drinks per day. I remember those days when they were a little bit more generous. I have had a nice day, feeling relatively happy. Yes, before they became loose-feeding, soul-sucking entities that are not human as well, drive certain people out of their spot in the casino out of sheer spite just when their dog died. The cunts. I had to say it. The truth is the truth, people. I will not be denied my truth. I have had a nice day, feeling relatively happy. I still miss my girl, Miss Bella Rosa, heaps, but the pain is slowly subsiding. Today I was a bit alarmed that the hens were scratching around her grave. Fortunately, they weren't digging her up, or I would have freaked out. 8th of October 2012. Massive big orb of a red sun setting this evening as I was driving home from my hairdresser. I was stuck in traffic or I would have taken a photo. That big red ball really made me smile. 8th of October 2010, which was, 6 months or so. My mother died in March. So I was going through a hellish will dispute and life was awful, people. 8th of October 2010. Right now I could do with a good drink and a loud party. Not sure that would be wise given my current life circumstances, but I could be loud, inappropriate, extreme, and everyone would think I'm drunk. My usual self. Who needs parties to out themselves? Psst, Shabbat Shalom, y'all. In my case, Oneg Shabbat, because I dance on the Shabbat usually. I'm not really doing well emotionally at the moment after more unpleasantness. However, I was happy that Gail took me out today and helped me take my Bella to the dog groomers for her doggy haircut. Bella came out looking gorgeous and Gail and I were most impressed. Now I need to get my own haircut and spruce myself up a bit. Mothers always come last. So that's it for today. I hope you found value, or I don't know what the word is to put out, how to put it. I hope this inspires you or gifts you, adds value in some way to your life, and if nothing else, gives you something to think about. And I hope you have, in spite of my trauma processing and my deep philosophical and spiritual writings, I hope it provides some form of edification or assistance to you in these dark times. And as I wrote and as I try to live, it's a Thelema principle, actually, by Aleister Crowley, who, as you know, could be quite verging on the demonic and the dark himself. But I like that saying, love is the law. He probably meant free love and orgies and soul-sucking debasement by polyamorous activities, but I look at it in the purest sense of pure love, universal love, holy, righteous love, human love, gifted from heart, mind and soul, and occasionally from the physical body as well, is the law. That is my philosophy after decades of abuse in my own Jewish community here. love. Love supersedes all horror and all trauma and all abuse and all debasement. So I hold on to that. And my love comes from Source, the Holy One, and all manifestations. So everyone fits on that giant crystal turning in eternity, whatever created this universe. So I'm okay with that. And have a beautiful day on the 8th of October 2023. I'm going to go out and spend some time with my little birdie. It's about to rain. The weather's looking a bit icky. It was all sunny and bright before. So like the weather, my moods tend to, shift and change and intensify or, devolve accordingly. And I'm a bit tired today, quite frankly. I'm still quite tired, probably from my wild dancing on Friday night. It's Sunday today. And so it takes me a while to recover from the dance because I'm physically not really all that well anymore, getting older and frailer, as I said earlier. And so the dance will continue. The truth-telling and the truth-speaking will continue for as long as I draw breath in this body. And the writings will continue. And the love that I carefully hold like a golden gilded cage, like the heart that Sir James Douglas, Black Douglas, carried of his compatriot Robert the Bruce in a gilded cage that he threw into the fray in Grenada just before he was butchered by the opposing army. My heart, there's a reason why that spirit revealed himself to me back in around about October, November 2018 it was. It will come up in my memories in due course. There's a reason why he revealed himself to me and stood beside me at my bedside when I was ill that night with a mild fever, but I thought it was a hallucination, so I turned away. When I looked back, he was still standing there. So no, he was real. He was my first full-body manifestation of a ghost I'd ever encountered. It was a bit unusual appearing right beside my bed the way he did. And I always thought over the last 5 years, why did he appear beside me? What was the message? What was that about? That I just clicked. He came to remind me of the heart of a warrior goddess, the heart of a woman who loves too much against all odds, even some of her enemies who've chosen to take on that role for no rhyme or reason, just sheer spite and envy at my merest survival and at my courage to care and to fight and defend other humans in this COVID epoch. That heart, gilded cage and all, locked away inside my chest, that I don't share easily anymore with other humans because by and large they are dangerous, or deceitful, or destructive, or treacherous. That heart that is so beautifully emblematically represented by the heart that was carefully embalmed and stored and carried around Sir James Douglas' neck until his demise. He so admired the heart of Robert the Bruce. And I don't claim to be a Bruce, and I don't claim to be of the same caliber of Robert the Bruce. I'm not a leader of my people leading us into triumphant victory against all odds, but I cleave to my truth and I speak my truth. And so in that respect, I am, by all intents and purposes, leading, kind of, sort of, in a weird kind of way. Lead by example, people. Arise and shine in the imminent glory of the divine. and know thyself, and to thine own self be true, no matter what, no matter who comes into your purview. Love you all. God's bless. Have a beautiful day, and we'll talk soon, no doubt.